Hi everybody, my name's Scott, I'm from Loving Outdoors, and today we're here to answer a question which is on all of your minds. What's the difference between all the different Garmin handheld GPSs? Well, today we're going to answer that question. We've got here today the Dakota 20, we've got the Oregon 450 and 450T, we've got the GPSMAP 62s, and we've got the Oregon 550 and the Oregon 550T. Now, one of the things that all these GPSs share in common on our website is they all come with the GB Discoverer 1 to 50 map. Now this is a full UK OS map in 1 to 50 scale. It's a Land Ranger map. But it also has in there, as well as the OS map, it has a vector map. And this vector map allows you to use it in the car, use it on your motorcycle, use it on your pedal bike, or use it on foot. And what it allows you to do is to navigate with postcodes. It tells you when to turn left and right. It tells you all the information you would expect on a GPS that you would typically have in a car. Now, I'm sure you all know Garmin are the biggest GPS manufacturers in the world. They're the global leaders, and their devices in particular, the ones we have here, are very reliable, and they're also very simple to use as well. Now, all the Garmin devices that we've got here today, they all have very similar attributes, and there's some very slight differences which we'll go through. But let's first talk about all the things that they all have. Well, first one that we know they have is they've all got the 1 to 50 OS map in there. So that's a tick. The second thing is they all have about 17 to 20 hours of battery life, and they all use two AA batteries, so you don't have to worry about buying a replacement battery which is built into it. They all have, you can change the batteries once you're out and about on the hills. The other thing they all have as well is they all have a free feature which you can use from Garmin called Base Map. And what Base Map allows you to do is to connect your GPS up to your computer, and then you can see the map on your computer. You can then use it to plot routes and waypoints, and then you can transfer that back into the device. So this is a new feature Garmin has. Typically you had to do everything on the device, so now it changes that around, which is great. The other thing you can use as well is a thing called Bird's Eye Select. And this is another feature where you go onto the Garmin website and you can select different regions. So let's say, for example, you buy one of these and you've got a 1 to 50 map, and you think, well, I would like a 1 to 25 scale map for a particular area that we walk in. Well, you can go into Garmin Bird's Eye and you can pick that particular area, and you can then download it into the device. So it's a lot more inexpensive than buying a full map. They all have a compass in there. They all have a barometric altimeter, which is the same altimeter which is on an aeroplane, in fact. And what it does is it uses air pressure to calculate your altitude. The other thing they all have as well is they all share is they all can use custom maps, which is a new Garmin feature, and that allows you to scan your own map in. So if you have a paper map, you can scan that in and you can put it on the device. So there's lots of really exciting things Garmin are doing with regards to that. Now let's go through the range. So the first one in the range, entry-level model, you've got your Garmin Dakota 20. It's touchscreen. As you can see, it's very small. It fits in the hand. It's got your external battery pack that goes on the back, so you can put your own batteries in there. And this is typically your entry-level GPS. You then, moving up the range, you've got the Oregon 450 and the Oregon 450T. Now, the thing that separates them, first of all, is the T, and the T stands for topographical maps. And it means that the Oregon 450T has full European maps in there in a 1 to 100 scale and the topographical. So if you're ever going abroad and you want to take your sat nav, it's quite handy to have that in. If you didn't need the European maps, then you've got the 450 without it. Now, the difference between the 450 and the Dakota 20 is, as you can see, the Oregon 450 is a little bit bigger. It's touchscreen as well, and I suppose it's its bigger brother. So apart from that, there's not very many differences. One thing the Oregon does have, the Oregon 450 range does have over the Dakota 20, is it's got 3D maps, and the 3D maps you can use to see the routes in 3D on the device, which is great. Then moving up the range, you've got the GPSMAP 62s. Now this has the same size screen as the Dakota 20, but it's not touchscreen. You use buttons, and this typically is a bit more of a rugged GPS. And you would use this if you were going up on the hills and you had gloves and you didn't want to mess around with a touchscreen. You could use the buttons. And then the top of the range stuff that Garmin do is you've got the Oregon 550 and the Oregon 550T. Now again, the T stands for topographical maps for Europe, but one thing that the 550 does have is it has a camera at the back, and that's so that you can take pictures of places that you've been to, you can save them on the device, and then you can then navigate back to them using the pictures. It's also very useful for something called geocaching as well, where you can upload your geocaches onto geocaching websites. So that's the range, and now we're going to bring Tom over, and Tom's going to talk to us a little bit about the device. He's going to go into some more detail and show us the OS maps. So here's Tom. Thank you. I'll leave you in Tom's hands.
Great stuff. Well, I'll run you through some of the basic working features of the unit. So, for example, the Oregon 450. You can see here we've got an OS map on screen, and the easiest thing straight away to recognise is the blue triangle in the middle of the screen. That denotes your location. What also happens is, because the units have all got built-in compass, the tip of the triangle will always point the direction you're facing, so the unit's constantly orientating itself. As Scott said, it's a proper OS map. All the paths on here as you would expect on the paper maps. You can really easily tell the unit where you want to go just by tapping the screen, and you get a little red pin come up. You press the grey bar at the top, press go, and the unit is now navigating to that location. You can see the pink line appears. You can also jump through to the compass page to give you a direction that you need to travel to get to that location, and a distance at the top here to get to that location.
Brilliant. Okay, well that's great. Thank you very much for that, Tom. And so that's the full range from Loving Outdoors.